years have gone by. Gradual changes in Grover's Corners. Horses are getting rarer. Farmers are coming into town in Fords. Everybody locks their doors now at night. There haven't been any burglars, but everybody's heard about them. On the whole, though, you'd be surprised. Nothing much really changes in Grover's Corners. This is certainly an important part of Grover's Corners. It's on a hilltop. A windy hilltop. Lots of sky, lots of clouds, often lots of sun and moon and stars. You come up here on a fine afternoon and you can see range on range of hills. Awful blue they are, up there by Lake Winnipesaukee and Lake Sunapee. And way up there, if you've got a glass, by the White Mountains and Mount Washington, where Conway and North Conway is. Of course, our favorite mountain, Mount Monadnock, is right here, and all the towns that lie around it, Jaffrey and East Jaffrey and Peterborough and Dublin. And there, quite a ways down, is Grover's Corners. Yes, it's a beautiful spot up here. Mountain laurel and lilacs. I often wonder why people want to be buried in Brooklyn or Woodlawn when they might pass the same time up here. Over here are the old stones. Strong-minded people who came a long way to be independent. Summer people come around and they laugh at the funny words on the tombstones. I guess that don't do any harm. And genealogists come up and from Boston they get hired by city folk who want to know if their ancestors are daughters of the American Revolution and of the Mayflower. I guess that don't do any harm either. I guess wherever you come near the human race there's layers and layers of nonsense. Here are the Civil War veterans. New Hampshire boys who had a notion that the Union ought to be kept together, though they'd never seen more than 50 miles of it themselves. All they knew was the name, the United States of America. The United States of America, and they went and died for it. Here is the new part of the cemetery. There's your friend, Mrs. Gibbs. Oh, and there's Simon Stinson, the organist at the Congregational Church. Oh, and Mrs. Soames, who enjoyed the wedding so much, you remember. And a lot of others. Oh, and Editor Webb's boy Wallace, whose appendix burst on a camping trip to North Conway. Yes. An awful lot of sorrow is sort of quieted down up here. People just wild with grief have brought their relatives up to this hilltop. We all know how it is. And then time, sunny days, rainy days, and snow. We're all glad they're in a beautiful place, and we're coming up here when our fit's over. Yeah. There's some things we all know, but we don't take them out to look at them very often. We all know that something is eternal. Everyone knows that something is eternal, way down deep in their bones. And it ain't homes, and it ain't names, and it ain't earth, and it ain't even the stars. Everyone knows that something is eternal. And that something has to do with human beings. All of the greatest people that ever lived have been telling us that for the last 5,000 years. You'd be surprised. People are always losing hold of that fact. You know as well as I do that the dead don't stay interested in us living people for very long. Gradually they lose hold of the earth. And the ambitions they had, and the things they suffered, and the pleasures they had, the people they loved. They get weaned away, that's the way I put it, weaned away. They stay up here, and the earth part of them burns away, burns out. They're waiting. They're waiting for something that they feel is coming, something great, something important. waiting for that eternal part of themselves to come out clear? Well, some of the things they're going to say might hurt your feelings a little bit, but that's the way it is. All those terribly important things, husband and daughter, and husband and wife, mother and son, enemy and enemy, money and miser. Those things sort of grow pale up here. And what's left when your identity's gone? Your memory, Mr. Smith. Oh, well, there are some living people. There's Joe Stoddard supervising a new-made grave. And there's Rebecca Gibbs, who went out west to marry an insurance man.